Hi, it's Wallace. Welcome back to my booktube channel. Today I'm going to talk to you about some of the new books that I've bought and some of the new books that I've gotten in the mail. So kind of a combined book haul. Over Labor Day weekend, I went to the National Book Festival in Washington, D.C., and I met up with some of the other book writers. If you don't already follow Book Riot on Instagram, you should. It's great for book lovers. The handle is @BookRiot, and you can see what we're up to, especially when we all get together at events like the National Book Festival. It was a great weekend. Like I've mentioned before on here, I'm a history nerd. Doesn't mean I'm a genius in history. It just means it really, really interests me. I'm also a political junkie. Again, I'm not going to be a politician anytime soon. Those are the things that I just like, my heart actually flutters when I'm in a museum looking at things that I'm interested in, or when I'm watching a really good segment on the news. So being in Washington was a lot of fun. I hadn't been there in a long time, so it was a great excuse to go meet up with some colleagues and experience the National Book Festival. I knew Sandra Day O'Connor was going to be there speaking about her new book, which turns out to be her brother's new book. It was a little confusing. Besides that, I really had no expectations for any of the speakers. I was just kind of going along for the ride, and you know, it's hard to go wrong when people are talking about books. So when it was suggested that we go see Claire Messud, who I believe it was Rebecca Shinsky's idea, she had read The Woman Upstairs, which is the book that Messud was talking about, and had really liked it. I didn't even realize who her husband was, and if you don't know, then go ahead and Google her and you can find out all about her. So anyway, she talked about The Woman Upstairs. I have to tell you, Claire Messud is funny. She's articulate, much more so than I'm being this time. She's intelligent. She's totally somebody who I wish I could have coffee with like once a week and just be like, tell me what you know and tell me what to read. The thing about this book is the character is very specific. She feels like she's overlooked, and she feels like maybe she missed out on some of the things that she was supposed to do in life. Anybody from a CEO of a company to a mother of 10 to a single woman in her 50s who's never been married and doesn't have children will be able to relate to this character and some of the points that Claire Messud is making in this book. So it's very good. And while there, it was hard not to talk about some of the things having to do with Washington, D.C., which include those of us who are history nerds. Amanda Nelson happens to be one of them as well, and we had talked about the book that she's reading, John Adams by David McCullough, which is one of my favorites if you're looking for a presidential biography. If you happen to be somebody looking for a presidential biography, that's a great one. Then she's doing something where she reads a biography for every president, and I thought that was a fantastic idea and something that I'm interested in doing. So I ended up picking up his Excellency by Joseph J. Ellis at the American History Museum and got started on this as well. So this will be part of a project that I'm sure will last me quite a while. Again, if you follow me on Instagram or Book Riot on Instagram, I posted something on both the accounts because I was so impressed with one of the bookstores in Dulles Airport. They had everything sectioned off by genres, and they had genres like YA and romance. They had an entire classics section. So I ended up grabbing this one. It's 50 short stories, and they're by people like Edgar Allan Poe, Dorothy Parker, Virginia Woolf. It's going to give you a good variety of tastes of authors without having to jump into each of their books, and then that way maybe you can get a feel for the author, and if you like them, you can then go read one of their bigger works. And he did a good job at not putting in short stories that are in a million other anthologies. So I'm really excited about this one. I'd never seen it before, so I decided to go ahead and grab it. Then I got to the San Francisco airport for my layover and found a magazine store slash tech store slash bookstore that has a program that is called Read and Return It. And basically what you do is you buy the book, you read it, and then if you return it within 6 months to the list, to one of these bookstores that's listed inside, you get 50% of your money back. So I picked Manson. Of course I did. I've mentioned at various places, Twitter, I think posts, etc., that I was one of those kids who snuck helter-skelter into my room from the library so I could read about it and freak myself out. And I'm fascinated by serial killers in general, which is not an invitation for any of them to introduce themselves to me Just fascinated by how different from a typical brain functioning. I don't know why I'm even trying to be polite about how I'm describing serial killers. Anyway, so I picked up Manson. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little embarrassed when I grabbed it, but it was the one I wanted, and it's such a cool program that I wanted to try it out. It's fantastic for travelers who read a lot. Why not get 50% back of your purchase? You can go on and buy another book and keep doing it. It's great. The newest of the Jeff Vandermeers just came out. I believe it's called Acceptance. So I decided to grab these from my library. I got the first one, Annihilation. Got the second one, Authority. I will be starting these very, very soon. So many people on Book Riot are reading these right now. They're supposed to be fantastic, creepy, twisted, weird. This one's pretty short, so I figure this one will be easy to get through. If I like it, I'll keep going. This is a piece of book mail that I got from Publicist, but I do believe it's out right now already. The Mathematician, Shiva. It's basically about a woman who's a mathematician who dies, and the mathematics world believes she dies with the secret without publishing a secret that she has. And so they come to her house and try to go through all of her stuff and whatnot. And this is the story about them trying to figure out this secret that she supposedly died keeping. The last one is The Miniaturist. This is about a woman in Amsterdam in the 1600s who is 18 years old, gets married, goes and meets her husband, and while he's nice, they don't exactly click, so he hires this miniaturist to build this little world for her to entertain her, and it does entertain her. Apparently something magical happens, and maybe a little crazy happens within that miniature world. So that's what this one is about, and I can't wait to read it. I love historical fiction. I love magical, crazy things like that. So it'll be fun to see what happens with this one. So that's the latest haul. Thanks for watching. Make sure you go to Book Riot, follow them on Instagram. If you're not following me there, I'm at Wallace Jovitich. It's in the corner on the homepage, as well as the link to my Twitter. And I will see you next time. Happy reading.